Good morning all. Today we would be talking about one of the important and formal part of communication. It is even I would say it's more of technical communication, and that is business letters, business letter writing and applications. So, now when we are talking about business letters, what are business letters and how are they important? When we are talking about business letters, the important part of business letters is it is a formal communication. First is it is a formal communication with any organization or company. Business letters are written when we need to professionally or formally write about something. It cannot have a language which is casual. It has to have a language that is such that it's more of formal, and there are various points that has to be taken care of while writing the business letters, and that is how we would call it as official letter writing, and that is why even it is called as, it is one of the technical writing part, because all informal in our personal routine we do not use business letters. To our friends, family, we would not write personal business letters. We would be having the communication which is formal and informal. So, we need to, we do not know, might be we are writing to someone known or unknown, but it is the person who is professionally connected to us or officially connected to us. So, only then that we would be using the language terminology, the language which is formal. And again, when we are looking into one of the essential form, when we talk, one of the essential form is, one of the essential forms of formal writing is business letters. Fine. This is one important point that we would take care of. First important point, that one of the essential forms of formal writing is business letters. Fine. Next, when we are looking into, this is again business letters are the chief mode of correspondence in any organization, whether it is a small organization or large. Fine. Business letters are the chief mode. Naturally, when you want to communicate with the people within your organization, even if it is a small organization or a bigger, it would be business letters that we would be following. So, accordingly, now even if we call email writing, a formal way of email writing is even one of the forms of business letters, because we are officially going, we are formally communicating things, and so accordingly we will have to follow few points. Again, when we are looking into with official form of business writing, a formal way of communicating through business letters even boosts up the image of an organization, of an individual too, because it sounds more professional, that anything the organization is communicating officially. So, that creates a rapport in the market, and that is how you are recognized well. So, business letters are more formal way of boosting up your image in the market. Fine. Again, in business, for business letters, we need to follow some ethics, policies, principles and manners. Why ethics? Because it carries the image of your organization. So, ethics, integrity, ethics, it is very important that we follow. because yes, the image of an organization is boosted up when it is ethical. A company having its own integrity policies shows how ethical an organization is. So, even when in your language, during your business letters, when you are following the ethics, that yes, any information shared is truly checked and properly communicated. That is how the ethics are being followed. We are not giving false information. So, those things are under the ethics that we would follow. Policies. See, every organization, because business letters are again official, every organization has its policies. So, during your letter writing, you have to breach those policies so that the confidentialities are maintained. Next, when we go the principles and manners, again as we are following policies and ethics, we have our own principles. We do not break those. We stick up to our principles. That is how our recognition is, that yes, these people are known for their principles, and that is how even during our business letter writings we would follow it. And manners. How manners? The language that we use during communication, the language during the business letter writing, again should be well mannered. When you are addressing things, when you are starting greetings for the day, you are wishing and addressing the person accordingly shows your mannerism, the way you are communicating, the language that you are writing in, the formal language that you use, again shows your mannerism. So, we have to go accordingly. Now, when we are talking about, fine, there are various formats, various formats and styles commonly used, various formats and styles commonly used for business letter writing. First we would take is the varying formats, the layouts. First we would talk about the varying formats. There are different type of formats and the layouts that we would use during our business letter writing, because as we say this is a business letter, it should have a proper neat official format followed, so that it, in a glance it looks decent, really organized and well patterned. So, we have to follow that. Fine. So, the first formats that we are talking about, the various formats are, first we are talking about is full block format. Now, when we are talking about full block format, please note one important point about it, which is very important. Full block format is most commonly used pattern. Please note this one thing, you would feel it easy because this is one pattern which is most commonly used. So, when we understand it well, I think anytime that we have to design or write a business letter, we know yes, we will follow the full block format, which will be more official and organized, a good pattern followed. So, now again the points that we need to remember is this full block format is now this is one important point that you would remember, it is the symmetry of blocks wherein each line begins just below one above and thus all information is put on the left side of the page. This is one important point that we need to note it down, guys. That is, as we all know, this is a commonly used format and it is a symmetry of blocks that we would be writing one below the other, fine, wherein begins below the above one immediately, and I will show you the pattern how would we do it above, and it is all in the left side of the page. This is all written and one below the other, the lines designed, and this is all in the left side of the page, nothing in the right side. How would we do it? Let me show you the design. Okay, in this letter again, like as we are starting with the address, suppose we are first writing the address. One of the addresses 240 De Silva Road, Main Street, New Delhi, following with the postcode. Fine. So, this is all in the left part. When we are talking about this, this is again the heading of or the sender's address. So, this is first as into the letter that we would write as the official letter. This is the sender's address what we are giving first. Fine, again that is into the left part of this thing, and then below we would be writing is, we would give the date. So, again date we would mention it, even without mentioning date we would write whatever the date is, 17th. Now, again date formatting is again different how we are going. You can mention first month, then the date and the year, or first the date, then the month and the year. So, again we can go is March 17, 23, comma, and or even we can go with a different format, 17 March 2023, fine. Same way even over here that we would go is 2023. So, these are the different date formats. So, again this is, but and one more thing that we would follow is, we will have to keep the space, as over here we are not having that sufficient space, maintain space of 2 to 4, there should be that 2 to 4 lines space should be maintained, and then accordingly proceed further writing this, and then you would go is the receiver's address where we are going to send it to. Now, we would then the same thing, now we would go is with the receiver's address. Suppose it is to Dr. Arun Sharma, 75 Rajat Path, Mansarovar, Jaipur. Fine, this is again the receiver's address. This is again followed. Then again we would give the space, please then again give a space 2 to 4. Fine, that line space we will have to compulsorily give, because that gives a proper formatting and a pattern. Then you will go is with the subject, you will have to write down what the subject is. Fine, you will again have to mention that it is again starting in the left side that we would start subject. It could be a short either 2 to 3 words, application for job or minutes of the meeting. So, it is accordingly, again it would go into the left side, it would start from. So, this way when we are designing, this is called, when we are looking into, this is called the full block format, and this is the format which we formally use it. This is the most common format that is commonly used, might be from years that we have been using this, and it is a successful and a perfect, a well designed format. Next we have another format which is B, indented or modified block format. This is a format, but you need to note down one thing is, at present this is outdated. We don't use this format much officially anymore, but yes, in exceptional cases this is used. So, you can at least, you should have a knowledge about this. So, we would talk about this even further. So, again this please note, because this is very important for you people to know, that in indented format or the modified block format is now an outdated or old fashioned pattern. Fine, but again as said, but is followed in company's correspondence. But again, please remember, this is one important point, but even if company's correspondence is following it, but without letterhead. When it is without letterhead, it is roughly followed. Officially, formally it will not be followed, because it is outdated, out fashioned. So, accordingly we need to take care of this part. Now, we would even take care of is, now the third pattern that we would talk about, simplified format. Word itself says, you know, it is a simplified format. Nothing much to, you know, no more technicalities and simple to remember, but yes, official. So, we would go accordingly. Fine. What is mainly to be noted? Please note, a simplified format looks like, this is one important point, please remember, it makes your task easy. What does this simplified format looks like? An email or a memo structure. So, I think this is easy to remember. Simplified format is like an email or a memo structure, the memo that we share. Fine. So, again let us see how would this formatting be. Like address we would write, the sender, receiver, everything goes in a line, everything is into the line, same pattern. Fine. Then you will have is the introduction, what is the main discussion, and we will end it up with a conclusion. This has to be followed. Fine. And then again, as we will end it up like regards name. So, this is the way we would follow it. Fine, it is simple way as we mail it. Fine. So, these are the main three formats that we would be using it. So, in today's class we have discussed the formats about business letters. In further session, further class, we would be discussing about various things like salutations, what all are the important points during the letter writing and application writing too. So, further we would be discussing about the same. Thanking you for today. Thanks.